This is a fence. This is a boundary, okay? A good boundary is this: productive, healthy, loving, and true. After a while, we know where we need to put the boundary, right? For a very simple example, it would be like stealing a car, right? And this would be, stealing cars is wrong. Don't steal cars. And let's say for a long time, we're living on this side, the bad side, right? But when I say bad side, I mean the side that is not the type of person that you want to be, not living the kind of life that you want to live. This is where a lot of us live. Probably not with stealing cars, right? That was just an example. But maybe it's self-harm. It can be anything, okay? This doesn't have to be self-harm. It can be anything. It can be an addiction. It can be a behavior that you run to all the time. It can be over drinking. It can be playing too many video games. It can be anything. Whatever you think is counter to the type of person you want to be. If you guys are like me, you are reluctant to put this fence in, to call this boundary right here. Because if you do, and you say this side is bad and this side is good, then you basically have to admit that, okay, the way that I'm acting is bad. That's uncomfortable and it sucks. It's hurtful. If you're living on that side, then you basically have to admit, I feel bad and I don't want to feel bad about myself. That's just where I'm at. And so what a lot of us will do is we'll say, okay, you know what? There is no fence. There is no fence. I'm not across the line. I'm somewhere in between here. I'm somewhere in here, but there's no line. That's just where I'm at. It's more comfortable, right? To just be in this like continuum. So we're reluctant. We don't want to put in this fence. We don't want to put in this boundary because it's basically admitting that we're not living the way we want to. I mean, especially if it's, I feel like a piece of crap all the time, that just further makes us feel like a piece of crap. And really what we're doing, I mean, if we're even trying to work on this, we at least have this like gate that we just go in and out of all the time, right? We just go back and forth here. Some days we're good and we're kind to ourselves if we're working on it. Some days we go over the fence. What's hard about this is when we put up that boundary, we're basically drawing a line between what's natural for us. What's easy? This is easy and natural, and this is difficult and unnatural. What's hard about this is that it feels a lot more natural to live on this side of the fence. And it feels so natural that it feels super weird that you would ever be on this side of the fence. You would ever be over here. It just blows your mind. How many people feel that way? They look at something that you're doing right now. This could be breaking an addiction. This could be breaking a thought cycle in your mind. This could be something with drinking. This could be with like porn, any kind of behavior that is not healthy for you, that you know probably needs to change, but it feels so natural to be in the middle of this and be reliant on it that you cannot imagine yourself having a life apart from it. So the hard part, even though this is healthy, which is good, it's difficult and it's unnatural. And even though this is unhealthy, it's easy and it's a lot more natural. So what are you going to run to? You're going to run to the easy stuff, right? That's what you're going to do. Basically, a good boundary asks, okay, is whatever productive? Is it healthy? Is it loving? Or is it true? Is it something that's going to be a net gain in my life? Is it going to actually be sustainably good in my life or no? Is it true? Is it loving? That's where you draw that boundary. That's where you put that up. That's where you put the fence, is between things that are that and aren't that. And that's the thing. It's not like we don't know. That's the thing that's so frustrating about like addiction, you know, is that just about everybody, I feel like, knows that what they're doing is not good for them. It's not like somebody can go up to them and be like, hey, this isn't good for you. And they'll be like, oh, I never thought about that before. Like, drinking myself to sleep 4 nights a week isn't good for me? What? The problem is that even though this side is unhealthy, it's a lot more natural. It feels a lot safer. Here is my encouragement to you if you are feeling this way, because I feel like I've certainly felt this way. I know a lot of people have felt this way. You live on this side of the fence. Your options are 1, build the fence and feel like a piece of crap, or don't build the fence and continue feeling easy, natural, but it's hard to tell whether it's healthy or not. It's hard to tell, so whatever. It's a lot safer. So it's still natural. You can kind of have everything, right? Those are your 2 options. Either admit that you're living in a way that you don't want to, and therefore you feel like a piece of crap, or you just get rid of the fence. This is my encouragement to you. Here's what you do. You build the fence anyway. Build the fence. Call it out. Because here's what's going to happen. If you can run to community, if you can put in the work, if you can put in the practice, if you can start to realize that not only do I need these boundaries of, okay, I'm not going to self-harm because that isn't good for me, but you also work on the mental boundaries of not every thought in the whole world gets to be in my sandbox. Like, not everything gets into my heart. Those thoughts that say that I'm a piece of crap and I deserve harm don't need to be there. That fear of not being enough doesn't have to be there. These broken relationships that keep telling me what love is doesn't need to be there. It doesn't get that time in my heart. Once you start to do that, you start to feel like you're worthy enough to not just keep going through this gate, but to start living on this side and start to close the gate more often. The fence is there. The fence should be there. Even people over here know the fence should be there. It's just uncomfortable uncomfortable. When it starts to feel more natural on this side than this side, that's where you start to actually live on that side. When you start to become and look at yourself as worth enough, that's when you close the door. That's when you close this gate and you live on this side. Kind to myself, difficult and unnatural. And guess what? This is still difficult. And it's still unnatural just because of the world we live in. But the sides start to balance out. And then after a while, once you live on this side, this starts to become less difficult and less unnatural. And it starts to feel more comfortable. And this is, maybe it's still easy, but it feels unnatural. And so your perspective changes from, I'm the kind of person that goes in and out of this gate all the time, to, no, I live here. Like, it's weird to go over there. Maybe you still go there every once in a while, but it feels weird. It starts to feel like not the person that you want to be, because the person you want to be is here. And you're starting to live that out, and you're starting to get strength from being accountable and talking about it and being honest and sharing and living a more purpose-filled life. That kind of stuff starts to feel more natural, and it starts to look less natural to live in this place that's outside of your boundaries. Then eventually, the more healthy side starts to feel more like you. And this is called recovery.